You're welcome tonight to our market update. I've said there are three things that form the asset of trading. So asset of trading, three things that form asset of trading. All right. Mindset, skill set, and tool set. Now, thank God today, to trade is better and simpler than before. Oh, yes. To trade is better and simpler than before. So mindset, skill set. Now, your mindset has to be like this. Your mindset has to be like this. Trade like monkey will trade with money and not banana. So your mindset is to be like this. You have to trade the way monkey will trade with money and not banana. Now, if monkey is going to trade with banana, it's going to be emotional because banana is his food and monkey and banana are 5 and 6. So he's always very careful not to lose his banana. So monkey cannot play with his banana. He can't play with you with his banana. That's one of the biggest things I want us to understand. Trade the way monkey will trade with banana. So don't trade like the way monkey will.
Item spaghetti, uri ha fried potato. Item beans, uri ha.
All right. So trade the way monkey will trade with money and not the way monkey will trade with banana. That will help you a lot to trade well. Now, but there are two major things about trading. Like we talk about the skills and the money. Now, you can have the right skill, you don't have enough money. It's a big problem. I can tell you. Somebody with enough equity will trade better than you. But if you see how wrong mindset, will waste the money anyway. So we're arriving at something. And congratulations for those of us who already have opportunity and building, because I'll wrap up with that, and building our ecosystem on AI tech, Sonic AI. You can see and you attest to the fact that a lot of people are maximizing the opportunity. And why do I have to take that opportunity? Because I saw that you'll be able to have what to fall back to. Because one of the biggest problem about trading is a very fantastic career, right? But one of the biggest problem is that if you don't have what to fall back to while trading, if everything you are looking for, house rent, especially when you just start trading, your house rent, your children's school fees, and everything is on trading, you may not succeed. Yes, you may not succeed. So you have to have, you may not succeed. It's going to be very difficult. Even things you know, you make mistake because you are emotional, you are thinking about the school fees, you are thinking about the house rent. So if you are trading to raise house rent and you're probably not a trader before, it's going to be cumbersome. You will see you struggle over and over, yet you won't raise the money. You may even borrow money and eventually blow the account. All right. So these are the problems that is still associated with trading, especially when we are struggling to meet up. It's a big problem. So it's a big problem. So you have to work on your mindset, right? You have to see trading as a business, as a career, so that I'm trying to simplify trading so that when we go to analysis, you are going to understand. So we want to look at what the week we do. So, but the right mindset is very important. And that's why if you're in our ecosystem, if you're in our community, and you have not activated your account on Sonic with Tag Market, you have to try, right? Me now, I'm doing my Osusu on my Tag Market, like those daily contributions and monthly contributions. I can't do contributions now with people. I have to create account that's going to be forming my daily or weekly contribution or monthly contribution. I create account for saving profit. So meaning I have to create account for saving profit and other things. So now let's quickly look at the market. Now, there's something about the crypto market so that you understand where you are making mistake. I'll take you here. There's something very important about crypto market. The group of people that are controlling the movement of Bitcoin right now, they are called the ETF. So anything inflow and outflow of ETF has a lot of effect on Bitcoin. So this week, we are in a more fragile situation, but let's see what happens tomorrow when, because look at it. What pushed more Bitcoin since last week or 2 weeks, we're having more of inflow of money, all right? Not necessarily the new money sent in by investors, but the people who are controlling the market, the like of Grayscale, BlackRock, Fidelity, and all of that. So there were much of buy, or not even buy or sell at some point. So that gives us an edge. But going towards last weekend, like on the 7th and on the 8th, Thursday, Friday, we start having some sell. Though we still have few buy, right? We still have some few buy, but we now have some sell. So those sell are concerned. But what I have observed, I'm going to look at the chart of Bitcoin. Remember, I said we are going to crypto first. So whatever Bitcoin does is what others will follow. So now, if I quickly look at Bitcoin, so we still have some buy, but the outflow now is now overpowering the inflow, meaning buying volume, we're now going down and we're having more selling volume. So if I quickly look at Bitcoin chart here is Bitcoin. So you can see that last week, right? That last week, it was showing some level of, maybe pushing back. So, but we don't know, and which we are going to check what close the Bitcoin market price today will determine if we are going to be rejected here as a kind of rejection block and then sell down. But if that happens, we are still going to bounce up from about $76,000. So that will form our decision if to short the market for people who are trading futures and in forex, either to now sell to in your forex market. But ultimately, this is the up move of Bitcoin that we're supposed to get to, but we are careful because this is market. Now, one of the other things is that, see, this is called just like the DSY of forex market. So this is USDT dominance. So all the crash were crashing all those time was that when you see more money going into USDT, that means the number of holding portfolio on USDT is now at where people were not buying Bitcoin, they were selling and putting money in USDT. And that was what we had that last, when Bitcoin got to that high and start crashing down. But there's something significant here you need to observe. We're almost having to break this low, all right? But we first swept it, all right? We first swept this low. So if all things being equal for DX USDT dominance today or this week, though we're having a nice support here, which means give and take. Since we're having a nice support here, so for Bitcoin, you allow today market price to close, though I'm going to buy on Bitcoin. So if we have this market return from here, that means we're going to have Bitcoin, all right, to crash. That means at that rejection. But now, if this one fluctuates down here, all right, and reject and continue going down, so our Bitcoin will give us more positive outcome to reach up to $98,000. All right. So that means allow today candle to close and see what it clears off. So you can see volume had been lacking. All right. So we have this. That was a positive one. So, but if today candle closes bullish, right above here, that means we want to see a pullback, and that means we are going to have continued buying. Now, a quick one I will show to you. Let's check where are some money lying. So let us see where are some money lying if we're going to get there for Bitcoin, because those are the things you need to do. We said in trading, liquidity is the fuel of price. So liquidity is a fuel for price. So wherever liquidity are gathered is where market goes to. So give and take, we have a lot of more liquidity, right? down on Bitcoin, 79,000 down to, let's look at it. All right, down to about 77,000 thereabout. But we still have some liquidity up here, up to $83,000 or thereabouts. That's 57 million, 8 million. They are not too bogus anyway, 20 million. To the present place, Bitcoin is struggling hard now. So have 45 million or so. So if that happens, then that means we are going to sell down to that $78,000. Quickly, let me just go. Try. So pay attention, everybody. Now, so if that's the case, that means, like what I told us, 78 Bitcoin. Yeah, 78,000. So this one was giving about 70, okay, 76,000. Let me just go to 4 hours and see possible raise, right? But also you can see that give and take, the momentum of Bitcoin is high. So that means the dominance of the DXY, yes, is falling. Can you see that on 4 hours? So that means our continuation for Bitcoin is still very, very high. So we can continue to buy, right, on Bitcoin. So how do I do? When this market close, I've told us today closes bullish. So you just have a little pullback tomorrow morning. That means we are looking for a buy tomorrow. So possible way on Bitcoin tomorrow is that for us to have a more buy, but to $83,000, $84,000. And then if we're able to consolidate over above there, then that means the market, because if you turn to this 83, 82,000, that will become a rejection block. And then we have to be very, very careful. If not, we can continue to travel up to this point. So allow the market to close tonight. We'll close above here. So that means what's going to happen is this. Let me show us. Depending on where we close tonight, so that means we're going to have something like this. Okay, let's go. So that means the possible area for us to be buying Bitcoin, depending on where it closes today, if it closed bullish, as it were. So we're going to be looking at the possible entry point at about, I look at it, 80,000. Now, 80,800 to 81,000 region, thereabout, for Bitcoin, looking for a buy if eventually, so if eventually we close bullish today. So looking at it from 80 to 81,000, let's just call it 80 to $81,000 for looking for a buy tomorrow. Okay, so I quickly will have to go. There are so many coins that have done massively well. Those of you on PBS Club internally, if you were paying attention and following properly, I'm sure you bought in this coin, has been showing more power. So right now it's trying to correct back, but it has tried. It has tried. So correcting back may be imminent for our ZEC. But that was a very massive coin we bought since, I think, around March. Now, for those who bought at 200, depending if we're following instruction anyway. All right. So that means it has done noble. And so that means the sell is imminent. All right. So maybe give and take. If you look at smart money activities and look at national footprint, so that means you are looking at getting down to this point, and perhaps from there could still level up. So anyone who is selling can sell up to 12 to 14%. That makes a lot of sense. And if it does not hold, that means back to this point. That's back to 3,300, $330 thereabout neatly. So if you are the type that trades futures, this would be a market you want to look for a sell position. Perhaps if you go to your 15-minute time frame, you should look for a pullback for those of us who trade future trading. So after this pullback, Okay, so those of you who trade futures, I think you just need to have another rejection to, okay, you come back here. This rejection has already happened. So you should be looking for it. Now, one of the things is that it has a lot of volume. People are just so much interested in it because it's having some almost similar character with Bitcoin or this why. If not, your sell can continue. You can look for a sell on ZEC if you are the type that trade future trading as it were. So now, quickly, Ethereum, the same thing. Let's look at Ethereum before I go to currencies. So Ethereum have been showing more very nice momentum, right? I think since last week or so. Yes, last week. Okay. And then yesterday, today is 9 or 10. Okay, day before yesterday on Friday. So there was a very good continuation. Now, before I talked about there's a special training tomorrow, apart from our regular business updates, for AI tech ecosystem, 8 a.m., 9 and 9 p.m. So 12 noon, we have sent a link on how people can use effectively our scanner because many of us abuse it. Many of us abuse it. And at least when you have basic knowledge, it will equally have a lot of positive impact. Many of us abuse it. And if you are the type that don't have too much time to stay in the market, you're not too free like that. Instead of staying and be looking for trading 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 3 minutes, always stay on your 4 hours. Okay, so but I'm going to discuss that so much tomorrow. All right, it's free. Nobody's charging you. 3 days boot camp, AI boot camp on how to use PBS Market Scanner. So those of you who have subscribed, congratulations, so that you can learn more. Because I know many persons don't even pay attention. Instruction is the worst thing most of us don't pay attention to, and very bad. So if you look at it now, that means since on Friday, somebody will have been in this market. All right, that's what it means. And I have always told you, how do I take trade like this? Look at, okay, somebody who was on Wednesday, you sold down. On Friday, you buy, and you have not closed. That's why I always emphasize on 4-hour time frame. So when the signal come out on 4-hour time frame, I'm supposed to go to 15-minute time frame and get appropriate market entry. Save yourself from unnecessary stress and don't entertain unnecessary fear. Right? It actually came back to this rejection block, right? And then buy back. So not have gotten here, right? Not have gotten here, but this is already gotten here. But for some, don't even so probably when it go to lower time frame. So I'm just trying to, those of us who want to be trading is good, but if you complicate it, you will hate it. If you complicate trading, you will hate it because it will so deal with you. You may never. So this is the signal that will have been on 5-minute time frame. And so for anyone who was trading it since Friday, must I close trade? Yes, you can take 1:2 risk reward, but perhaps stretching further to trail your market make whole lot of sense, both on futures and on the currency, short and long and all of that, and even on your spot for crypto. So most time I tell friends, and then when they come around, hey, this scanner is not even working. I say it's not true. It is you. Your level of impatience, your level of I know too much can really complicate the whole process for you. And then but you can look at Ethereum. It looked beautiful when it must have happened. You say to say I knew. It came, you were not obedient enough. All right. So you can now see that. So Ethereum, we want to see how long is it going to go. So that is how you can always do 1:10 risk reward, this is almost 1:10. By the time we return back to 4 hours, that means you still have a long way to go. So perhaps back to this point, that will be 1:9.66. Now I'm just showing you practically about this system instead of, so we have to wait a pullback. I've told you $80,000 to $81,000 for Bitcoin to be looking for a buy. So this guy is even more stronger. So you have missed out. So maybe you look for other opportunity. And if you're able to break that 2004, that means we'll have some fantastic journey on Ethereum to continue moving up. So that means we have this wall of Jericho up there. That's about $2,600. Okay? So how you wish you had always been following instruction, you will have been taking a lot of money from the table. Okay, so let's quickly look at the currencies. So we start from the DXY, ladies and gentlemen. Now, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, this is what we do every Sunday to look at the market. And outside that, and I've just told us something before, many of us came in. I said the problem we have is that we have too many things that we are planning our trading outcome for. It's wrong. Trading is a career, okay? You have to find a way of building it. But once you're able to build it, you will enjoy it. That's the truth. And one of the problems we have is not having enough equity. And many of us have told us, have given us some, out solutions on how you can build your career. You can now leverage on opportunity. So now, many of us who are on AI tech, which I'm going to just splash some things after we finish this market update. Now, what is the advantage, for instance, of the people who are in AI tech? Do you know that they will trade with rest of mind more than you because they have something that is coming, right? So, for instance, now I may not need to be scalping again because Sonic is scalping for me. Now, what? Go and do this. Go and do this mathematics by yourself. Exactly, those of you who subscribe and on PBS Club. The question I've asked is that how many of us have actually gone back to our PBS Club and go to that 90 days challenge? We have an academy that we have done training every day. And I say, create 1 hour out of your 24 hours. It's called sacrificial time. Read that time and every 1 hour to go back to the platform and take the training is not up to, none of them got to 1 hour. 30 minutes, 15 minutes, and all of that. But create 1 hour. Take notes. It's so funny that it is in trading. Most people always want to manage. No, now you have to be intentional about it. Okay? You have to be intentional about it. So now let's look at what are we looking at and expecting for the market on DXY. Okay. So DXY have been struggling within a range. Imagine since April, we have been dilly-dallying within this box, here to here, here to here. So that's the advantage. We talk about tool set, skill set. Now it has been dilly-dallying, no proper structure to have gone back to anywhere. So if you don't have supporting understanding, okay? If you do not have a supporting understanding, it's a big problem. Somebody says it's not hearing me. Please, if you can hear me, can you type 222 on the chat box? If you can hear me, can you type 222 on the chat box? Somebody say it's not hearing me. Can you hear me, please? Kindly just type 222 on the chat box if you can hear me. All right, thank you. So, Nosa not hearing me, please. Maybe you can exit and return back, and that's going to help. Excuse me. That may help your. Thank you very much. So, thank you for hearing me. So, but Nosa, you have to, maybe you exit and return back to be able to see you or hear again. Thank you very much. All right, so as we continue now, this is the simplest thing about trading Forex. Now, many people complicate the whole issues about Forex. Yes, fine, there's a need for you to understand fundamentals. But sometimes I'll tell friends, I said, if you can get your structure right? Exactly when it's not gold, if it's currencies. Let me use on the case study of Euro USD. The upside down of DXY is Euro USD. So now, if the market have been struggling here, we just have this place. We can break this place for opening of this week. That means we continue to rally down. So we're going to have something straight down to Euro USD. So I'm going to look for Euro USD. That means we are going to continue to buy on Euro USD. Many of us who come our weekly, we always tell you we're buying, we are selling for the week and all of that. But this is the challenge. If DXY bounces, you can see that Euro USD is at the resistance point there. So maybe I bought last week on this. Maybe that's why it's showing this. Let me look at 15 minutes, very possible. Aha. So there was a buy. Last week, we bought Euro USD. That's what is showing there. Now, so this is the challenge. Now, what we're going to have is that Euro USD is still rejecting, and you see it has been rejecting on that point since last week, right? All right, since last month, 14th. Now, you'll be confused at this type of market because sometimes what you were taught about markets was market structure. And in that market structure, we're being taught is this higher, high, higher, low. Now, which is textbook format? They say high, low, high, low, high, low, high. So and that's what you want to see. Once you don't see something like this, you are now confused, and the market will now be using you as a liquidity. That's why when you have supporting tool will help you. So with that, if this is going to be bouncing from here, that means we'll return back up here again. So we're going to be having a buy on Euro USD. So you now say, okay, how do we have that? So if this week we are going to open in the next few hours, the next 2 hours, less than 2 hours will open. So if you have the market open and then grab liquidity like all this, so let me not talk about liquidity. So because beginner will say, what is he talking about? So if the market open and first go down, probably as if you want to break this and now return up, that means we'll be looking for a way to sell Euro USD because that's where we are going to be making money. So we'll be looking for a way. So because Euro USD will open and first go up, but there's a hidden liquidity here. To what extent will it go? That's why you need to be patient when market open tonight before you can take decision. If not, so that means we'll now be looking for selling opportunity. And what are the chances? So that means this week we'll now be struggling inside this box again. That will give us about 200 pips if all things being equal. So that means potentially you are looking for rejection on Euro USD that will enable us to sell Euro USD. But if you look at it logically, Euro USD on a daily time frame, you can find a structure. So I will not want to go too much about that. But so that means we're supposed to push back and then break so that we can continue to move up. But whatever happened tonight with the opening market is what determines what we're going to do. So I may not have to go so much on. So this is GBP JPY, USD JPY. That have been struggling since last week too. So, but now I may not need to go to too many of those instruments. I've just shown you that Euro USD potentially you are looking for a sell. Then Bitcoin you are looking for more buy. But like I said, Bitcoin we have more selling volume last week. So you probably I want to have to allow the market share to move also for us to close today before you can decide. Because if this market, now that we have like sweep liquidity here, if this market return back here, consolidate and move up, then expect the massive push down of Bitcoin, down to 75, 76, $78,000. But if we're able to push a little down, then we can continue rallying up as the market expects. So for gold, that's our powerful friend. Okay, so our powerful friend is gold. Okay, somebody save us. Will tomorrow training be an online or physical? Which of the training do it's online, not physical, please. 12 noon, they are using training about the PBS market scanner, right? It's 12 noon. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's online. So if you say physical, you are denying some people very, very important training. So it's online, and the link is not going to be posted on our general group. It has been posted. Anyone interested supposed to click on the link and join the group. Once the training finishes, the group is dissolved because this is for our May special. So it's the month of May edition. And once anyone is not on the group, that's the place we're going to be dropping the link for people to join the class. All right, so gold on its own. Now, it's so important, and I've been telling most of us, look at gold. All right, so gold ordinarily with the structure is bearish. But upon how bearish gold is, it kept bringing money for people buy, sell, buy, sell. How do I mean gold is bearish? This is a high, this is a low, this is a lower high, this is a lower low because it has broken this, and then we have this. Now, if you look at it, it's bearish in the sense that it has rejected at this fair value gap, and this one is doing that. The challenge is that it didn't get to the floor. So you now know that, okay, gold lack momentum to either break right here or to say, okay, we are returning, or break down to say we continue to go down. So in the case of gold, you must make do with your 4 hours right? You have to make do with your 4 hours, 1 hour, and then you can get the right thing to be done. All right. So here we have a sweep of liquidity here, and then we have a break of structure as it were. So returning back from here and then bouncing down to this point may not be difficult for us to now continue going up. So you will always find buy and selling opportunity on gold because at a point you get more choppy, right? And so that's what I can say. That's okay. Gold, where we have a pushback at this support level. Now, where you expect it to get this support level, may not get there. That's the thing. But this is from the 6th, right? 7th to the 8th, it was still within this region. So those of you who have the scanner, it's an advantage. Those of you who do not have, you have seen that the market may actually deceive you because no proper structure to actually stay with. Okay? So that's why the scanner make more sense for people who are using it and actually working and obeying the simple instruction about that. Okay, so commodities, of course, all of them too are doing what they are doing. DAX, right? DAX, US. Oh, okay. I had to close Nasdaq last week for the buy. Now, so you can see Nasdaq is still pumping because the stock are doing well. So the US stock on the tech stock are doing very well. So that's why you see since this one, nothing has changed. Imagine market since the end of March kept buying and kept buying, kept buying up to 9,000. So anyone who is selling is just shortchanging himself. That's one of the things, and that's why I said trading is an investment vehicle. It's not about all those, I enter, I scalp. I'm not saying you should not scalp, but be careful because sometimes you may use yourself as a liquidity. So you can see SPS S&P 500 too had continued to have the same journey, of course, similar journey with NAS 100 because that's Nasdaq, and then you have that. Okay. So what will then happen? What will happen is that the market is still getting more momentum because why? If I go to this place, let me just show you quickly, Trading View. Okay, so if you look at the momentum in the stock market, especially tech stock and all of that, the momentum is still high. Let me just show you quickly, and then you will see that, okay, the market on Nasdaq, S&P 500 may still be pushing up, okay? Look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA I've been expecting at $225 since. I think it's just getting across now. So if you see some of those tech stock, they are still doing well, all right? And look at it, we're having strong buy in most of the stock. So you should expect more buying, especially on NAS 100. These are the things, there are so many indices we use to identify some of those things. So you should still expect more buying on NAS 100 because the momentum about the stocks are still very, very strong. And so what do you then expect? The resulting effect of that is a kind of internal economy of scale for that. So I'm not going to detail about that. And if you're a beginner, please be careful while you are trading all of those indices, especially NAS 100 and all of that. I saw a lot of people shorting NAS 100 last week. I was just smiling because I don't know what to want to short when the market, both the fundamental and technical, are so crazily strong. Okay, so the last point I'm going to go to is we have said synthetic is already available, right, on TradingView. So synthetic is already available on TradingView, all right? So I think I got a buy here to somebody that was in the morning. Was it not in the morning? I think was that. Okay. It was yesterday or something. Yeah, it was yesterday. So on 4 hours, massive activities. So if you trade the Reef Synthetic, you trade what do they call it? 75, you trade all of those instruments, boom and crash, all right? So those ones, no fundamentals and all of that. It's just by structure. I have a selling position now on these, and I'll show you why. Okay, so let's just go. So that was the final place. So you can see a selling position that have been happening since last month. So it still continues selling. And I think the sell will still continue because if you go on daily time frame, you will see that 10-1S at the point wants to have a buy today. But unfortunately, if you look at on daily time frame, you say that, okay, it has a long way to go back to this minor support, to this major support. That's going to be a very good money, for those of us who are trading volatility and all of that. Quite unfortunate. I think, okay, let me just quickly check. Should there be any opportunity? Okay, let me look at this is crash. Is it 300 or 500? Crash 300. So it's ranging though, right? So after a major crash, it rally up back. So there may be a need to have patience to see another rejection here. Because if it does not reject there, so ultimately, so what can I do with this? Nothing for now, nothing, seriously. So let me look at it on 4 hours. So nothing, seriously. So because the market is what it is, and you have to work with what you are seeing in the market. Okay. Now, please, why I have to do this as fast as possible is the fact that many people are complaining of trading. And trading is, like I've said, is simple, but trading is, how do I call it? It's simple, but it's not easy. Stuff like that. Because it will conform you to be disciplined at all cost. And then, so while you are now trying to be disciplined, you see other people who are going to influence your decision. They start talking, look at, this was supposed to be crashing at a point here. So, but why I was looking at some level of rejection that will happen, 1,000. This is crash 1,000. So it's either we reject or sweep this liquidity, then before you can start having some selling position, even though it's a crash. And so I always tell people when you are trading boom and crash, pain and gain, always use higher time frame if you want to trade them, as it were. Okay, so like this market now, this is crash 500. Let's see crash 500. Okay, this is crash 500. So let me go to 15 minutes and see. So crash 500. Okay, crash 500 actually immediately sold, but it was a minor sell. So before you have more good sell on crash 500, probably you must have crossed 3,177, and then you want to be selling crash 500. So you can look for a way on crash 500 to sell from, so 3,175 region for crash 500. Yes, why not? You can find a sell there, right? So then let's quickly look at which other one. Let me look at this is Boom 1,000. That one have been selling fantastically. Okay, no, this is Boom 150 or something. Okay, so let me check Boom 1,000 because. Okay, so now understand that trading, right? I say trade like the way monkey would trade banana. We trade money. So when you give money to monkey now and he's trading with it, he doesn't have emotional attachment. It's not easy, but you have to create that mix. Look at Boom 1,000 have been selling. This is Boom that spike, but look at the sell. It's still continuing. It has not stopped and it will still sell. Why? Because that's what your scanner had given. We have broken the major support. So that means the journey still continue. Look at it. There was a resistance and was supposed to be bouncing from here. It bounced a little. So by structure, you can see that the continuation was very high. So from 1,000 is still selling. Can I still sell now? No, it's risky. You allow it to, maybe the next spike that will spike where to come back to 13586 region, then you could be looking for a sell on the 1,000. Okay, so now
We're not seeing your screen. Okay.
I'm just picking them. I'm just picking them randomly, okay? I'm just picking them randomly. So I'm just picking them randomly. It's very, very important. So then finally, okay, so those of us who trade the volatilities instead of boom and crash, So you have to develop yourself to understand market structure properly so that you won't just jumping around. Even with your scanner, once your scanner, okay, somebody say, with 25 and 50. Okay, that's why you love trading. Your screen is frozen. Oh, but is it opening now?
It's slow. It's slow.
So it could be network, probably. So the network don't want people to enjoy the analysis. Sorry about that. Okay, so now let me just take one or two. I was trading in the morning, right? No, in the afternoon when I returned from service, and I was taking some trade, and that trade has been doing well since yesterday. Now, this is the secret in trading. Most time, when you get an instrument that give you, oh, look at it. When you have an instrument that give you a nice setup, don't play with it. Work with that instrument very well. So this market is still going to be buying. I saw it there on day before yesterday. No, I saw it. That should be on Thursday, not the Friday. It's still going to buy well. Now, this is it. No, so let's go. Let me show you something. So by structure, you can see that all of these were, what we call the wave of the market continued to move until it got to the peak and return back here. So though this market now, why is it delicate that we have some kind of level of support downward there? Now, so let me go to 4 hours. Now, if I go to 4 hours, you can see that this market is struggling somehow and all of that, which means it can still sell down. But if you know what you were doing, you 1 ratio, 2 risk reward, you have been doing it very beautifully. So let's look at it. Now, our scanner gave us a buy, that was since on Thursday. Yeah, since on Thursday. And I told us that once a signal come on 4-hour time frame, it make a whole lot of sense. Now, on the structure itself, this higher time frame and this volatility that are very fast. On the structure itself, it came down here and broke structure here, continuation. Now, what I'm supposed to do is to go to 15 minutes and you will have find a trade. Now, if at the end of the day, there's a buy opportunity already. If you are the type that trade there is synthetic, you can buy now. That is volatility 75 1S. Let me show you. Your scanner peaked it since that day. The buy continue. Many do don't know. And why will I continue to buy? Because I found, so this is a structure break. Okay. 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 So I expect the next move now to break above this resistance. Okay? Yes. So, but if it does not, that will become a problem. So we'll get rejected and start selling, perhaps. So this is where, but do you know that if you are following this, you will have been buy and sell, because this here to this play was a sell. I saw this one and bought back. So, yes. So now let's go. You're supposed to sell this, buy this one. So let me see if, let's see how much you can buy. So let's see. You're supposed to buy it. So let me take it this. Those of you who have the scanner and those of you who do not have the scanner, the training I'm going to be holding with you 3 days, I'm going to work purely on the scanner. So because I'm looking for the simplest way people can trade, while you are now trading and making money, you are learning. And the simplest way to get that done is the scanner will be able to help you. So now it came to the extreme discount. And that was cool. So the extreme discount of this market, perhaps you have sold here, right? Perhaps you have sold there. Now it came to the extreme discount. So let's take it. This is the extreme discount. Come on now. Right? So sorry if this thing is skipping. Sorry about that. So I told you if you want to buy, you can buy. That is volatility 75 1S. I've told you why we started. So now, if you look at it, Sometimes you expect it to come here. No, because this has created some structure over and again. So that means we need to. So if I was actually following, I was going to be taking my profits here. My first take profit will be 3856, and the next take profit will be 3902. Okay. So what if I lose? You lose now. That's part of it. Somebody will say, this fella is not a good man. I'm not. So now I go to 5 minutes ordinarily. So if you go to my, even before going to 5 minutes, 1 hour, I always tell you if you are using the scanner, 1 hour I have not given you a buy signal because it does not have the swing point level that was supposed to be 3 candle close. So that's why it doesn't give you, because the scanner is programmed around swing point. Okay. So even this one does not have that. That's why it doesn't give you. So, and part of the thing I will teach you tomorrow is how to use Fibonacci align with your scanner. And then you're going to be making money if you can stay focused anyway. All right. So if you look at 15 minutes, so because you already have what we call this the area of focus, right? So if it's an area of focus, this 15 minutes. So if I go to 5 minutes, I will have find my entry. Now, the worst that should happen is that I will lose my trade, right? So now my entry will have simply here, look at it, 3 candle close, 1, 2, 3. So accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. Now, so you missed that point. Yeah, so you missed that point. This will have been another one, even this one that is just doing now. So, do you get that? So entering at that point, the only thing is that if your money is small, you may not enjoy such trade because you are coming late, right? So those are say, okay, if you enter, so anyone who probably enter from there, you are seeing something like this. Maybe somebody will enter from here or whatever, anywhere here. So if I take my stop loss here, below here, it's bogus, right? 57. It's not. It depends on the lot size you use, 57.6 something. So this, I think this market give you room to open trade at 0.0. Wait, let me check. Because of if your account is small, the smaller lot size you can use, and then that is V75 1S. Let me check quickly. I'm almost wrapping up, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so let's look at it. V75, 0.05, yes. So now, if it's 0.05, just do the arithmetic. When you are trading, you should know how much you're about to lose when you are taking a trade. Okay, so now 0.05. So just to multiply and know how much you are going to lose. If it's MT5, you can do it directly, you will see it. So, right, I told her when we start, say, okay, if you enter, even if you have entered before now, that means you bought before here. Maybe somewhere here is where you bought. So 0.05 times, let's say 50, let's say 60. So you can say, but if you're using MT5, it's simple. You can do it on your screen. So 0.05 multiplied by 60. That's just $3. Come on. Come on now. So I can even give a buffer of my stop loss there. Just $3. All right. So, but if you are maximizing it, you probably say, okay, I will use 0.05. It's too small. Probably you want to use 0.1. So that will be $6. So remember, I say my first take profit will be here, but I will have entered here. Remember? So, but if my take profit is still going to be here, my TP1 still going to be here, that is at 133.939. So I'm still on more than 1:2 risk reward. That's what it means. Okay. Now, somebody may want to ask me, why do you take your take profit there? Your take profit when you enter any market, my rule is that enter 1:2 risk reward. Once the market gets your 1:2 risk reward, so that means if you use 0.05, you are going to make $6 because you are risking $3. Now, if you use 0.1, you're going to make $12 because you reach $6. That's just it. Any trade you are entering and you are not aware, you cannot tell us how much you're about to lose. You are gambling. Be careful. All right. So if I'm going to go to because in my Fibonacci retracement, I create Fibonacci extension. So how to do that is very simple anyway. So, but that's part of the thing I'm going to be teaching that day. So let me return back to 1 hour time frame. So that means to this point, right? To this point. So if I say to this point, that's going to be about 1:3 risk reward. But if I had come here, I would have entered earlier than now. But the market is dicey, right? But you must always be aware of what you're about to lose. Now, this is what happened. If the market's able to break this, then that means the journey is going to be very sweet for this guy. Now, this is why when I'm trading, I do like this here. So imagine you have entered 2 positions or 3 positions, depending on how much is your account and then how you are partitioning. That's where you now see 1:10, 1:20, 1:30, because that market have a long way to go, right? So you now see 1:this, 1:that, because the market had a long way to go. You can imagine the trade that have taken place since last week. Can you see that? That will be massive. You understand? So if this market return and break this, that's how you can take trade. You can leave it for 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, and the trade continue to do what it's doing. Okay. So a very quick one. I think we've done Noble. Now, please, most of you have not traded before. All right, please record this training so that we can still benefit from it. Yeah, it's been recorded. Yeah. So now, some of us who have not traded before. Okay, what is it? Scanner said, why are we buying? Attend the trading days training. The people who have been using the scanner, they can tell you. I'm sure Ames Parazo. Can you educate this man that asking that scanner is asking us to sell? Why are you buying? Don't worry. When you have the understanding, that's why I would say trading is about 3 things. What? The mindset, the tool set, the mindset, the skill set, and the tool set. So the more you look, the less you see. So when it comes to the market or business, the more you look, the less you see. So you understand some variables when it comes to the market. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, this is very, very important. Like I was saying, that when you are in the market, when you want to build up your business, there is a need to settle down and get basic knowledge. Basic knowledge is going to help you. And then trading is all about trading profit and loss. So if loss is part of the game, you only find a way to mitigate against or how much to lose. So most person, when you enter trade and I tell you how much are you losing, you say you don't know. That means you are not supposed to enter market. You should be aware from beginning while you are entering that this is what you are losing. That's what make you determine. That's what determine where you are going to take profit from. Like I said, this one, if you hit your stop loss, you are going to lose $3. All right. But for people who were able to take the reversal early, do you know how much the people had made? But some of us, even when you take the reversal early, because of fear and lack of understanding, impatient, you will have exit. Probably after maybe you have taken profit and you exit. When market was coming, I say, you want to collapse. Let me run away before it collapse. You come after 2 or 3 days, you see the market is already up. What's going on and all of that? You begin to ask yourself some questions and all of that. So you now look at it, okay, even in this market to collapse, you can see other thing we call institutional footprint, where you're going to be looking at a kind of level of fair value gap here. So if the market get back there. And by the time you go on maybe moderate time frame, like 1 hour time frame, you may see some level of resistance at those institutional footprint. These are the things that most time when we are trading, we probably may not pay attention to. Okay. All right. So now ours is to make sure we're able to simplify trading so that you won't give yourself unnecessary stress. Just like, so look at Bitcoin now. So imagine Bitcoin now, right? So like, look at Bitcoin. That last week here. What is this now? This is Bitcoin. So can you see that massive crash that I was still talking about in not how many hours ago? Let's go back to this. So it's already crashing to that point I was mentioning. So then we have to now look at that's what I say until the candle actually closes. Now, those of you who trade using the scanner, if you were following your Bitcoin, you will have make money for sell, though, right? Because it gave a signal here. Now we are looking at the bigger picture. Now, if you are the one that buy, sell, you are looking at within the time frame, because this is like a breakout structure. Many of you, if you're trading, look at it. This is a low. So this is a low, a sheep break. This is a high. This is just a sweep. Now, a low here, internal high, right? And then move down here. And then this is another internal high. So this is the main high. So if this is the main high, then the market is correcting back already. So that means it didn't even allow us to talk too much. Say, hey, the market's correction, can you see, can massively, if it didn't hold here. So that means what we're saying, if you go and look at, what's this guy called now? Let's go back. Oh, this screen is still freezing. Look at what happened. Guys, look at where we left just now. That told us something here that is dangerous, that because this market, right, just okay, sorry, just a moment. Need to bring it up. So many of us, when we are trading, we don't pay attention. There will be profit on your table, but you wouldn't take it. Okay. So look at what I showed us, or what's going on. Come on. Okay, we'll soon wrap up anyway, but I know you got some understanding. So I talked about USDT, and I said, where's the daily? Okay, thank you. So, and I said that it has swept liquidity, so we need to mine what will happen here. That it has swept liquidity because this is a liquidity. It didn't break. I don't think it broke. It did not. Let me show you. So it didn't break. So we have to be mindful of how the candle closes today. And so if it didn't break, that means a sweep of liquidity, return, consolidate, then we wire up. Anything that makes us to wire up. What happened to Bitcoin? Wire down. And I just told us about this guy, that we have more liquidation down there than up there. Okay, there's a market I was in. I was already on, it was not long, I was already on $30 profit. That's $90. Now it's down by $14 already. And why? I told us that liquidation are more at the down point here. That's about that 79, 78, and all of that. So if Bitcoin starts reacting to that, then you're going to be having more selling volume into USDT. So when we have more selling volume into USDT, then USDT will grow in value, and then depleting the value of Bitcoin. And so if that happens, then you are going to be having more. Yeah? You're going to have market crashing. Let me check like that one I just said now. Okay. So market crashing. So that means eventually you see Bitcoin return back to that $76,000 I just mentioned. Okay. So a quick one. Let me check. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the basic thing about the market. You don't need to learn too many things. I told some people in our training last week in the office, and I said, you don't need to know too many things. What is that purple color? Which one is purple color? If you see any other color apart from your, okay, so when the scanner displays purple color, that does that, okay, what does that mean? I don't know the purple color you are talking. Maybe you ask that question tomorrow in the class. So now, ladies and gentlemen, as it were, if you see any purple color, are you sure I'm not the one that drew that one? So as it were, one thing I always say is that there are patterns that are repeated in the market, and that pattern is called swing point. It repeats itself again and again. So instead of me looking and stressing myself in the market, I look for repeated pattern. So repeated pattern is what prints money, not some of those. You can be in the market for money tonight and you didn't see a repeated pattern. It's going to give you difficulty because you don't even know what you want to look out for. So when a repeated pattern is played out again and again, when you see it, you see it. And one of the biggest repeated patterns is called swing point. like this that has happened here, that means invariably we're having more depletion, right, in Bitcoin, and we're having more fuel in USDT. So look at it. This is a repeating pattern. This is a swing point. 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 This one is a swing point. That means last week, somebody had made money on this swing point alone already. And now market is getting here. It's like swept this high, I wouldn't know. So look at it. So that means market traveling down. So by the time you're on like 4 hours, 1 hour time frame, you probably will see, an entry as the case may be, right? So I'm not going detail about this. Okay, look at the 1 hour, like I've said. For those of you who have this scanner, I always tell you your 4 hours, your 1 hour are the most powerful market entry for you. Look at it. Massive selling, right? And that's why I call this scanner better than your instructor, better than your mentor. Look at those Bitcoin I've said I was on $33 profit. Some have even hit stop loss, $19 and all of that. So why? Because better than your instructor, better than your mentor is the scanner, right? But you need to have basic understanding. Look at it. See it here. And then if you go to 5 minutes, and boom, can you see? So on the 5 minutes, if it's not giving you what you are looking for, many of you have been using the scanner. I think I've taught you that. It's not giving you because this does not give you what you're looking for. This does not give you what you're looking for. So you step down to, I think it's only one stop loss I remember to have time to put. So let me just close this one. I forgot itself. See why sometimes why you may not care about the loss you may make in it, but that does not make you not to be disciplined. You have to be very disciplined. Is that you are trading with reasonable amount of money, and that's the advantage of passing some prop firm. All right, so that when you have reasonable money, not to be lackadaisical about it, but you can do. Now, most of you who are trading, who are following instruction in learning trading very well, see how Bitcoin is crashing like wildfire. Now, look at it. If I come on 3 minutes on this, now there are confluences that will make me to sell. Look at it. This is a rejection. It swept this liquidity on this lower time frame. This was not giving our 3 candle close, but there's a sweep of liquidity here. Now you're still afraid. You return back. It comes rejection, as it were. So that means if I go to 1 minute, right, because Bitcoin and gold, I go down to as low as 1 minute, that will have given you maybe proper selling point. And so let's see the sell. Okay, so there's a sell here, right? Of course, when you have a sell there, so if you sell here and put your stop loss above here, you are stopped out. Now, that is displacement, all right? The market return back after selling here, there's a total displacement. That's the shortest time. Now, there's a total displacement and give another sell. So this is a sell, and then look at it. Now, if you sell here, this is where I say 1:2 risk reward before trailing. If you sell here, right, let's look at it. Your stop loss is going to be tall, okay? Now, the market return back and hit what we call rejection block. But before then, look at your 1:2 risk reward. Okay, perhaps it didn't even get to your 1:2 risk reward. Don't entertain fear. It came down here. This is a rejection block. And it sold. Beautiful sell here. And it was selling. Another beautiful sell here. If you are the type that entertain fear because you do not understand the market, what will you have done here? At this beautiful sell, another beautiful sell, you will be afraid. But guess what? That should give you another entry. All right? Now, please, those of us who are always afraid of trading, is some jargons we mention about trading that get you scared. If you pay attention to just obeying simple instruction, you will be happy you do, and you'll be making more money, right? So at the end of the day, look at it, how that sniper entry is done. Look at the sniper entry. So it end up being, see, how do you enter this appropriate? See the manipulation, and then go to the, that's 1:4 risk reward. If it's $30, you engage the market, $30 times 4 in that order. Okay? So it's very, very important we pay attention to simple instruction so that we can be in as much money as we can. All right. So tomorrow, like I've said earlier, please, tomorrow, yeah. So tomorrow we are doing training. Okay. We are doing training There's somebody who was asking us about the 75, he's saying to sell, we are buying. Why? You can attend that training tomorrow. It's going to help you to understand more detail, right? So that, okay, how many of you enter? Can you see that trade, right? It's still moving gradually, right? So that's how I said, if I was here, I would have entered earlier than this. But those of you who enter, you can see that it's already moving Jagrally. Now, you were afraid when you first entered because it pulls back. You say, why will I for no buy, I for no buy. No, trade is, you have already put your exit either for loss or for profit. And that you don't need to start, if to say, I know, I for not do this, I for not do, no. It's not necessary. Okay? Now, you can see that USDT is now adding more money. So if you wipe off all of those rejection, then Bitcoin will continue to crash more. So imagine if you're following and follow the instruction, you will have made money by yourself without calling on anybody, as it were. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I think at this point I'm going to pause. Now, tomorrow in the morning, 8 a.m. is your opportunity to learn. And on whole, tomorrow in the morning, trade has started on your what's it called? On Sonic AI. So if you have not registered, I think I will advise you to do. A lot. There's something I want to show to us. Some of you who they give some funny information and you are clamoring. Some of us are using some, all right? Some of us are using some platform, but because that platform does not have a conspicuous attention, it makes us not to understand. So some of you send me some message. So if you are here, just watch. I want to show you now. But that doesn't stop me, all right? That doesn't stop me to continue to use what I'm using. Now, I just want to show you, some of you asked too many questions about tag market, because tomorrow now, Monday, we'll have started making money. Now, look at tag market, right? A regulated broker, okay? A regulated broker, 5.9 over 10. You won't say they didn't try on the average. And then, all right, forest license, one license, which is from Mauritius, regulated, okay? Already having the rating, license rating 4.6, software 8.94, risk control 8.94, business 5.5, right? Then MT4, MT5, verification, all right? Full license verification, that is TM Financials as a server, that is United Kingdom, okay? And all of those things. Influence index number in Germany on influence A and all of that. Now, I want to show you something. There are fantastic brokers so that you understand how to go and compare some things. There are fantastic brokers, but people complain, they will take into consideration. Let's look at this one of our broker that we use for trading, and we're enjoying it. And this is a broker that is about 19 years in operation. Look at it. This is one of our broker we use. Now, some of you don't even know what you are looking for. Somebody can capture this. This is WellTrade. What is the score? 1.73 over 10. We are using the broker and we are happy. License, only one license, FCA regulated derivative trading, and where that should be, I think is regulated, is it South Africa or something, and all of that. Now, look at what they say, regulation 3.060, license, this is 0.0, this 8 point this, business, risk control, they say 0.00, software 4.5 this, trading environment, trading, average execution, latency, they say poor. Do you get that? So influence and Colombia and all of that. Look at what they say. Has recorded a total of 43 users compliant against this broker. Please be aware. This is a powerful broker. This is not a new broker. This is a broker that has been existent go to 20 years. Okay. Now, I just want you guys so that you are learning, and then instead of being victim of somebody's ideology. And I saw a broker, right? Many of you may not know many of this broker. Think Market. This is an Australia-based regulation. Then when you go to some platform, based on their own assessment and what they get, see what they are telling us. WikiHealth have recorded a total of 79 user complaints against this broker. Please be aware of the high risk. Can you imagine? Now, so they didn't tell us anything about the, full license. Okay, they say full license, MT4, Hong Kong, and all of this. Okay, license 8.71, high, very high. But yet, they are giving you a lot. Just because based on people's complaint. And some people's complaint can be very sentimental, and they are the one not following instruction. Look at this business, and they now say risk control 0.00, software 9.91. That's very high, right? This is Australia-based, and they have additional 5 license and regulation. Australia, FCA, United Kingdom, Cyprus, South Africa, offshore regulation derivative, because they start trading synthetics now. So they have that FCA offshore regulation and all of that. So I'm just trying to tell us that people see what they want to see. People hear what they want to hear. Somebody is going to capture this one and send to you. Somebody will send it to you. But somebody will not understand that this is a platform. And now, what's the name of the company? They say TF Global Markets, Austin, instead of what Think Market that you are seeing here. Do you get that now? So most time, we get things out of, this is what is in your mind. And once you read anything related to that, that's what you capture. So people do what they want to do. They hear what they want to hear, and they see what they want to see. So if you have not registered on Tag Market, I'm not here for Tag Market presentation. Join us by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. If you are busy 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, join us at 9 p.m. tomorrow evening, where we do detailed presentation. But just that, before you now start your account, you will have missed Monday sleeping allowance. You know what it means? Those of you who have been on the system, you miss sleeping allowance. You want to build business on it, it's another powerful thing. So why? Passive income, you can fall back to it. So when you are now trading, you don't trade under fear and pressure. Okay, somebody say, please, the 12 noon tomorrow training, not okay by me. It's not a problem. I'll be very busy at that time. Can you please record? It definitely is going to be recorded. It's going to be recorded. So for whoever that's available, you attend. And please, if you have not clicked on the link to take you to the WhatsApp group, because I'm not sending the link of the training to all our group. If you have not clicked it, that means you are not following instruction. Definitely, you may not see the link. It's only the people who have clicked on that link that will attend, that will have access to it, because I'm not sending the training link on our general group. No. So I'm not sending it on our general group. I really want to know who want to learn more. So, those of you who have subscribed, hey, I'm still making some mistake. Hey, I thought when I enter, somebody will send me a message. He say he blow his account. I blow my account. I say, it's you that want to blow it. The scanner didn't work. I say, yes. I'm not surprised. If you give a rifle, you are laughing, right?
It's funny now, sir.
It's funny, Abby.
It's funny now.